Here you will find the steps of the diagnostic process, the fact-finding, the analysis and the assessment in order to decide on strategic options, the planning bit where you start selecting the strategic options, and ultimately, of course, the actual capacity building before the change can happen. People move through this cycle. The diagnostic process that we did, just to put everything once more in a picture. So we started with a basic question, and after that basic question we went to the IOM to describe the situation as we see it now in terms of opportunities and threats outside, strengths and weaknesses inside. Once we have the assessment of the current situation, we move on. And we started formulating strategic options from our opportunities and threats. External, as to avoid that you start staring yourself blind on your internal weaknesses. You think from outside to inside. Strategic options. And the strategic options describe what you want to do to address, to make use of the opportunities of the current situation, to fight the threats of the current situation. And then we put the strategic options together with the strengths and weaknesses in order to balance our ambition, what we want to do, with our capacity, what are we able to do. And that hopefully leads to choices with regards to a strategy. What you can withdraw from the strategic orientation matrix are the building blocks of a strategic plan. The strategic option is the objective. The strengths, the related strengths and weaknesses are points of attention that you need to work on. They are part of your strategic plan. In order to put your strategic plan in practice, there is another planning stamp required, which we will call the operational planning. That's like really putting the strategies in practice, where you appoint a team to make the change happen, where you assign budgets to the change program, where you divide tasks to make the actual capacity building happen, etc., etc. So the strategic plan is not a very concrete plan. It gives direction. So it requires, after you have chosen, it requires an operational plan to really put it in practice. Conceptually doing, basically, is to get the majority. You will not get 100% of the people in the same spot. But through dedicated, focused communication, you will try to get as many people on the same page of the book of change, if I can put it like that. So that you have a critical mass that is willing to move forward. If you are managing a change process, it is therefore extremely important that you keep an eye out. Where are these people? And this is a very simplified logic. This logic is complicated by other things. Where are the powerful people? Are they in this group, are they in that group, or are they in that group? Of course, I hope you will agree that will make a difference. Yeah, there will be power issues, especially if you work with other organizations or if you work with government. Where are they? So first question is to analyze carefully. If you are in a process and you see it is not going to go, it's not going according to plan, why not? Who's where? Because that is a dangerous thing. If that person is not standing above and just tries to keep the coalition together, he or she may push her own opinion, and by that may break the coalition. So it is important to understand where your people are, and this also of course applies to change processes inside your own organization. So the issue here is that whatever change process you initiate, you have to assume that people will be in different phases of change. They will look at change from different places. And that place will determine the way they act. So if you want your change process to be successful, you better get them on the same page. At least the majority. And how do you do that? Communicate. But focused communication. You don't have to give the 40% the facts. They know the facts already. They already have their opinion. So they just go, yeah, I don't need these facts. Go away with these facts. And so it's focused communication. Know what you need to say to whom. This is a change cycle, but there are of course always ways to avoid learning and to avoid change. I hope you realize that we are not recommending this. We make you realize there are ways to avoid learning, as to not to do these shortcuts. So we are not promoting to avoid learning. Okay, let's see what kind of shortcuts maybe you will recognize some of them. Can we? Yeah. So the pragmatist shortcut. What is happening here? You don't even know it, you haven't even reflected, you just change for the sake of change. Chaotic, that they move from one to another, they don't even know why they're changing, they just think the change is good, so change. Let's change. Okay, it's extreme maybe. This is maybe something that you do recognize. This is what we call the academic shortcut. Yes, we need to change something. So let's analyze. And okay, this would be a good idea. So let's move. No. We need to analyze a little bit more.
It takes a long time.
So let's look at it one more time, because I'm not sure if that's really the right
just thinking
thing. So let's analyze a bit more. Okay, now do we have the solution now? You know, new technology. Let's take another round of analysis.
Where does it stop?
Go back again. New boss comes in. No, I don't agree. Let's analyze again. Nothing happens. Academic shortcut. You analyze for the sake of analysis and you never get out of the analytical process. You're just interested in exploring new ways. Things that haven't been tried before. Let's do something new. It will be nice to do something new. Is it necessary? Are we not breaking something that is already working? I don't care, it's boring. Let's do something new. Yes, program is slow. Let's change task distribution. Or staff motivation, let's recruit some new people. Or whatever. Let's spend time building a monitoring system. Without properly analyzing and thinking what is the best way forward, jumping to conclusions. 4 very familiar ways in which you can avoid learning. Again, there is a lot to say about resistance against change. I just want to touch upon 3 particular dimensions. Why do people resist change? What are the main 3 reasons why people resist change? We are not so sure whether this is the right change direction. We are afraid that this is going to affect, as you put it nicely, we are in a long-term process. If we change things now, what is going to happen? This is not the right time or the right direction. It's about content. People object against the what of the change. So the second dimension, for those of you who didn't look yet, is about process. So this is about the what. We resist because we do not agree with what will be changed. Because of fear, uncertainties, etc. This is about process. What is that about? I mean the how, that's the process. It's taking too much time, too much effort. This is much more how it is organized. Who is involved at what moment? Why was I not being asked about this? we are meeting task distribution. Why I was not invited to this meeting? Process issues. Either it's like, my God, so much work for such little effort, for such little process things. It's not because the content is just your job object against the process. Too cumbersome, exclusive or inclusive, etc. The last dimension is about person. What do we mean here? So when you create a team that is going to drive a change process, be conscious about who you put on that team. It has to be people that are respected in the organization. It have to be people that are not too controversial. People that have been there maybe for a while and that are respected for their opinions. Be conscious who you choose. Don't just pick whoever has time for it, because that is a risky business. Okay?